Welcome back. Now, incidents of GBV, gender-based violence, continue to be reported on a daily basis. This despite the introduction of the National Strategic Plan on GBV. One organization has tailored emergency response and trauma services for victims. Hendrik, Neethling and Ruan Vermaak from CrisisOnCall join me now in studio for more on this. Gentlemen, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Ruan, if I may start with yourself as the comms manager, just maybe explain to us, what is CrisisOnCall?
So yeah, CrisisOnCall is a identification system. We also have render services to our clients such as a national emergency number, helping them to assist them when they basically experience any kind of emergency. Yeah.
Okay. And Ruan, sorry, if I may come to you, Hendrik, sorry. Why the need to create something like CrisisOnCall?
What we found way back in 2002 when we started was that people often landed in hospitals as John Doe, Jane Doe.
Yeah.
And we identified the need to have identification that works, and from that we developed a program using identification that is alternative methods. Because what happens in an accident is everything that's valuable is lost. Your cell phone goes, your watch goes, your purse goes, your handbag goes, and suddenly you actually lose your identity.
Yeah.
And in that, you actually need something that creates better identity for that person. And that's where we started with the armband.
Okay. So that armband, what's on the armband? Explain that to me.
Just the name CrisisOnCall, the telephone number, and a unique number that helps the center, the call center, to link my name to the information that is carried on a database.
Oh, I see. Ruan, who's making use of this, your invention to a certain extent?
Yeah.
More.
So basically everyone that stays in South Africa can make use of this service. So the big need is if you have a medical aid or not a medical aid, is that communication is quite a big problem. So well, it's a fact that you will be robbed when you're involved in a motor vehicle accident.
Don't say it's a fact.
It's what it is. And then they will steal your personal belongings. And then who's going to speak on your behalf? So this is where CrisisOnCall makes a huge difference in the community and in South Africa. And so everyone, young people, older people, everyone staying in South Africa can use this armband to give them complete peace of mind.
Okay. For Women's Month, what are you have got a program in place?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So basically what we do for Women's Month is to give them the service, so such as they've got the one emergency number on their armband that will communicate so that they can communicate to someone, to speak to someone, because it's not always easy, you see. So if you go home and you are beaten by your husband or the other way around, the problem is, who do you speak to? And the thing is, with CrisisOnCall, you've got that channel that you can speak to, and we can direct you to the right services such as trauma counseling, and we can activate the police or security services for you on your behalf. We carry all your information so that we can give it through to the right points at the right times. So yeah, that's basically to give you a broad example.
Yeah. I suppose you would need to have good relations with a lot of the authorities in order to do that.
Yes, we've got about more than 3,500 medical service providers registered with us on a national base, and then obviously your security services as well, and your we've got your South African Police Service as well, working hand in hand with us as well.
Okay. Hendrik, I mean, one of my biggest fears is ever getting into an accident. I keep my medical aid card in my wallet, as we spoke about earlier on. And I always wonder about getting an ambulance as quickly as possible. Will this aid me in that particular instance?
The moment somebody finds you and make a call to us from the band, we obviously would dispatch an ambulance as quick as possible. And it would normally be the nearest most appropriate ambulance that is available and that can handle the case. So a paramedic would also be sent off immediately to do the immediate attention to the person, and then when the ambulance arrives, obviously put a person in the ambulance and get a person from that scene to the most appropriate facility where the person can be treated.
All right, fantastic. Let's just remind our viewers that for Women's Month, it's what, for the next couple of days or so, women can go on and register at no fee, which is, I suppose, is the key thing as we head to Women's Month. Yes. That's what we're talking about here. Ruan.
Yeah, so basically when you join CrisisOnCall, let's say from today until actual Women's Day, you won't have any charge for the month of August, for the whole month, and September as well. And then only after that you will start paying your fees, which is not a quite big amount as well.
Okay, all right. Just out of curiosity, since the creation of CrisisOnCall, and we're looking with major GBV problem in South Africa. A lot of your members, do you get a lot of those type of calls at all?
Yes, well, it's basically, it's been handled and treated by our call center, so we've got trained staff working with that, as well as service providers in place, such as your trauma counselors and these guys that takes care of the situations. But yeah, so it's quite a big deal.
Are you getting a large number of women phoning up in those particular instances as well?
The situation, these cases are handled by the trauma counselors, and they are actually not allowed to make information available because of that relationship between patient and therapist. So although the cases comes in and we know there's cases, we don't have a specific number.
Okay.
But we know it's happening and we know there's cases.
Okay. And one thing that's crucial, there's got to be confidentiality. You know, because if a person phones, especially when we're talking about GBV here, many people want to, I don't want my details out there, throughout the world. How confidential is your information?
110% according to the POPI Act. So basically, I've spoken to Hendrik just before the interview, and I said to him that it's normally the nicest guys that's doing this stuff, and the family members won't expect from them to beat their wives or girlfriends or whatever the case may be. So no one is going to believe them when they speak, and I think that is one of the major issues in South Africa, and I think globally as well. So this is why CrisisOnCall can give you that peace of mind, that you have the emergency number in that situation to handle this for you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much, and we'll see. Well, I mean, it's a much-needed service, unfortunately, when it comes to GBV. But I suppose it's just not that. You'll also need that service in the case of an emergency, other different emergencies as well. So from CrisisOnCall, Hendrik Neethling, who's the CEO, and also thank you so much to Ruan Vermaak, the comms manager, for coming to explain to us what CrisisOnCall is all about.
Thank you for the opportunity.